First about the ovens, about the Craft version ovens. That's the one where we were talking about. Depending on your cooking behavior, we have 4 appliances for you. So that means that we have a 5-in-1 combi oven, steam ovens, solo microwaves, the Craft 3 and the Icon LED, and the pyrolytic oven. All these types I'm gonna tell you some, give you some information. Craft makes life easier and represents the key elements of the Scandinavian design. It is straight and made of as less material as we can use. So a lot of parts, a lot of lists around there are created out of one piece of metal. So that implies the simplicity of how it's made in the factory. So crafted with elegance. It says stainless steel bars around the sides, but it's actually one piece seamless frame. It is a unique integration in the cabinet. It is not built in like you see here in the picture. It is normally completely integrated. I will show that later. But I took this picture in to show you also how the sides of the oven look like. So also the glass door that you see fills and fits flush inside the frame. So it's completely flat in the front. Also you see a small piece on top of here. That's where this model is a steamer model, and that's where the water container goes into. And also that piece is completely flush built inside the front of the oven. And we of course have a very steady metal handle, of which you have a very stern, a very good grip. So we have 3 types of displays on the models that you are going to sell. And the first one is then the 2.9 TFT color display plate. And we call that the Craft 3 version. And the 6.1 TFT color display with a little bit more functions and possibilities. That's called the Craft 6. And we have got the 6.1 Icon LED display, which is made a little bit easier. And that's not only done to create just a new type of oven, but this is a system that is actually a little bit cheaper. So that you have the possibility to place it. So you have the possibility in sales to make some differentiations in prices and so on. So this is then the 2.9 TFT color display. The display is a little bit smaller and has a little bit less functions than the bigger one, the 6.1. You have 2 metal knobs, not plastic, they are actually metal. The icons that you see are illuminated. So you can also see that in a little bit darker kitchen. And in the middle is, of course, the high quality. You have six illuminated touch keys. These keys you are using to program the oven. With the metal knob on the right side, you can jog different items that you need. For instance, you can change the time or the temperature. Whatever you are setting at that moment. Programming always ends with the V button. Then when pressing the V button, your oven will start. That's not only with this model, but that is with actually all models. Also 2 metal knobs and the 8 illuminated keys in the middle and a bigger screen. What can we do with a bigger screen? For instance, let me say, I'll show some movies later on. And in that movie, you can see how to program it. And a bigger screen gives you more possibilities to create better and more functions inside your oven. To give the real premium look. And not only that, this does make you feel like a real chef in your own kitchen. It is from, normally it is from left to right. So you start with the button on the left. and you navigate in the middle and you choose the temperature or the time, and after that the V button to start. Same is actually here. The display looks a little bit different and you have less functions, of course, on this oven. Possibility, for instance, to use auto programs or stage cooking, of which I'm going to speak later on. But it is still a premium oven and with a lot of functions. For the construction, we have extra strong pyro-proof enamel in all ovens. All ovens have the same enamel. If you buy a normal oven or a steam oven or a pyrolytic oven, use only the highest quality enamel, so it always stays like new, even after many years. We have two positions of the light, and that helps to have a better look inside your oven. Sometimes you see that it could be a little bit darker in your oven, but yeah, two lights really help that you have the lights from several positions. We have soft closed and soft opening for the doors. Telescopic light slides, which are really easy sliding. I'll show that later. And we have the 5 airflow system for even baking and also for the steam system to work a lot better. We have an extremely large cavity and we have a flat door construction, which is quite easy, removable and easy to detach and clean. We have a lot of accessories in the ovens, especially the combi steam ovens, but we can use all accessories in all ovens. So the sizes are exactly the same. It doesn't matter if you have a 60 centimeter or a 45 centimeter oven or an oven with or without the sliding system. Accessories are exactly the same, so that's quite convenient. Yeah, the oven doors have a soft close system. Even the microwave, which has kind of hooks on the door to have to use for the extra door switches. Even that one has a soft close and it shuts completely after giving it a slight push in the right direction. Well, how does that look? It doesn't matter how fast you throw it in, it will always soft close the last piece like this. We have the easy sliding telescopic slides, and there is a maximum of 3 levels for the 60 centimeter and 2 levels for the 45 centimeter. And there is a reason why we don't have that for the microwave. For the microwave, it's not possible to use the easy slides because there is too much metal that can give sparks inside. So it's never, not for any brand, common to have these. Also for the pyro oven, we have these ones inside, but we recommend to take them out when you're using the pyrolytic system, because the high temperatures can easily destruct the sliding system. So that's the reason to get them out. Well, how does that look? Not only they slide easy out, but they also slide easy in. When you are taking something out, it can be that it slides so easy that it automatically slides easy in when your oven is not completely built in flat, for instance. Therefore, there is we made a small break at the end. So you, if you slide it out, you can lock it and it will stay there. So that's quite convenient and easy to use. So we also have quite premium grill racks, and the grill racks in all ovens are exactly the same, and has a thickness of 4.4 millimeter, and it's a really sturdy grill rack. It stands out a little bit to the competition in this. So for the perfect integration, it is especially when you have more appliances besides each other, it's always hard to build it in and to let it look straight. So to get them straight and in line with each other, all ovens have 4 adjustable feet, so you can line out your ovens or together with your coffee machine or the warming drawer. You can line out it perfectly, and they look a little bit like this. You have 4 of these and you can change them in height for about 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters doesn't look like a lot, but in practice it is. You never need more than just a little bit higher or a little bit lower, like a millimeter or so. So this is then the drawing of the one-piece metal frame, of which is all the same in all ovens. All the oven doors of the ovens have.
Excuse me. Just one question. The adjustable legs in the back, can you adjust them without taking the oven out? Can you adjust them from the front?
No, that's not possible. I understand the question because, for instance, at a dishwasher, we do have that possibility. But if we would have that possibility in the oven, technically it's possible, but it would be visible in front of the oven. And you see it right away in your eyes. So it's not a compromise to have a system like that. For dishwashers, it's easy. It's underneath the dishwasher, and after that, it's built in, and there is a plinth in front of it. So then you can hide a system like that, but not possible with ovens. For the oven line, we have metal side covers at the sides of the door. We did that to give them a premium look and feel. And it looks really nice, and it looks more professional. So if we had everything black on that side, it could look like a kind of plastic. Then all our oven systems and steam oven systems have a 5 airflow system. It guarantees the optimal circulation of heat and steam inside the oven. This is purely due to placement of the holes in the back. The ventilator in the middle takes care of dividing and blowing the air in the right direction at the right level. And that's not only for the hot air, which is warmed by the heating element behind the wall, but also for the steam system, to have a better understanding of the steam system, how that works, and how high quality that is in an oven like this. I have an animation movie later on which explains a lot. So this takes care of the fact that we then have hot air at the same temperature on all shelves that you use. All the baking plates or grill plates that racks that you use. Of course, technically there will be a difference in temperature, but we are talking about 2, 3, or 4 degrees, nothing more, nothing less. If you have a normal oven, so with top and bottom heat, you will see that you have, when you use multiple plates inside your oven, you will see that you have a really big temperature difference in the middle of the oven. That can so be for, let's say, 20 to 30 degrees. And that influences your baking behavior, your baking result a lot, of course. So for the steam system, we have a pure steam system. And in the old days, we had a quite simple steam system that was more like an element on the bottom. We throw a lot of water on there. And after that, we heat that element, and you see that we get steam in the oven. Well, nowadays we do that a lot different because we want to have as less moisture inside the cavity as possible. So that therefore we have a pure steam system. That technology gives really a perfect result, not only in the 60 but also in the 45 centimeter steam oven. There's even not a slightly difference between those two for the baking quality, let's say. It produces pure steam, which means that the steam is completely free from droplets. So the food is actually then cooked in its own juice on the scales that you use. The steam is, as said, distributed through the 5 holes inside the oven, on the back of the oven. So there is a water container. It contains 1.3 liter of water, and that is enough for approximately 80 minutes of pure steam cooking, and 18 minutes of pure steam cooking at the maximum power is really a lot. Every dish is ready by then. If you use, for instance, partly steam, to add steam to a cooking process, I'm going to speak a little bit later on that. Also, the cooking time is way longer. It can last in maximum up to 3 hours even. To understand the steam system better, I will show you a movie, how the steam system looks like internally. After this movie, we're gonna roll it back a little bit and to explain some things, why we did things with the technique. You should be also hearing a kind of, music. So that was all quite quick. You are all sales guys, I understand that. But the reason that I show you this movie is that inside here are some items that you could have questions about. What is really important is, you see my mouse moving, I guess, in the middle. What's really important is that this is the water tank, and the system draws water inside the steam system. And after the steam cycle, it could be that the water stays inside there and could pollute, or could be, there could be getting bacteria inside. To prevent that, there is a second pump over here, which is enabled to work after the steam cycle. So after you are ready with steaming, you will hear the second pump running, and it sucks out the complete water reservoir inside the system and puts it back into the water tank. And then you could say, well, then it's in the water tank and that's not healthy enough. No, we also took care of that. So after the steam cycle is ready, you get a note on the screen, please empty your steam tank. The reason of that is that you have warm water inside there, and that could not be healthy to leave it in there for a long time. When you say, well, I don't do that, the warning will come back when you use the oven for the next time. It's for your own health. A little bit further on, why we call it a pure steam is this. Only the steam is going up and the other water is reused underneath. So no water droplets are going in to the cavity, to give extra water inside. When you look at this, you see that it's circulating. So in the 4 holes on the side, it's going out and it's drawn back in the middle. So you have a constant circulation of excellent steam. So without any droplets. And the ones that will be created are evaporated on the bottom again. Are there questions about the steam system?
Yes.
No, thanks.
You say that some droplets may form in the floor, and then you have a heater in the floor that evaporates those droplets, correct?
Yes.
But what happens with the droplets that form in the plate? Like maybe you have it in the second rack or in the third rack, and there's some droplets accumulating in the plate with the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Indeed, we see that, of course, the droplets are, well, let me first tell you a little bit about how that, what the reason of that is. Everything that's in the oven is colder than the steam itself. So like the windows, the windows are cold, and you see that the moisture is, is extracting to the coldest parts, the windows. So this is the same for the oven wall and for the dishes that are in there. But the dishes are heated by the steam, and in the steam process you see that the oven dishes are at a certain point having the same temperature as the steam itself. So you always see just a little bit of water on the plates, on the racks that you use. Plus we have for steaming special racks which are perforated and of which the water can be going out underneath. Because not only the steam is in the oven, but also the moisture that's inside the food. And that can also drop down. And so we have quite a lot of oven dishes coming with our appliances. I will show them later. But for each dishes you are making, you can choose the best gear. And if that is a dish where there's a lot of water coming out, you should use the right gear with the perforated balls. And that's how it's taken care of. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so we have a few items, a few features which are quite unique. First, for the 45 centimeter, we have cavities up to 50 liter, which is really a lot. Especially for oven systems who are quite complete, so with a microwave or a steam system inside. We are among the biggest in the market, so that's a good selling argument. You have 4 insertion levels for the 45 centimeters, and it's advised to not use more than 2 at the same time. You can use more, but then you have the opportunity that your baking results gets a little bit worse. But that's normal in the 45 centimeter because there is no more space for that. In the 60 centimeter high ovens, you see that we have a maximum of 73 liters of content with 5 insertion levels, and you can cook safely on 3 levels with a great and really great baking result. So if you put 3 pizzas inside, you will see that the 3 pizzas will bake almost exactly the same. So the top and the bottom one are exactly the same. Not the top one burnt and the bottom one has to cook a lot more. No, they are almost the same. So also in the ovens we see that the elements that we see are built in more like in the top of the oven cavity. So with a normal built-in height and you open your oven, you don't see the elements right away. The reason of that is that also not every oven is always that clean. So when you open it, that you see a lot of things stuck on the element on top. So when you look from underneath in there, it looks like this. So we have a double upper infra heater, and we have that in 2 heights. So we have an inner and an outer heater. That's quite common, let's say. But what we did is that we created a height difference in the heating elements. And the reason of that is that the middle element has a bigger power than the outer element. And if they would have the same height, you would have less good energy and heat to divide inside your oven cavity. So when you use both elements, you see that you have a completely flat and lined out temperature across your complete oven dish. So that gives quite a good result. This is a better overview of that. So you have a bottom element, an heating element at the back for hot air warming. The outside element on top is used in the normal oven function, or only the top oven function. Both elements are on when you use the bigger heater, or the flat grill as we call that. And you can also use only the inside grill because you're not always having a big dish inside your oven, and then you can use only the inside grill. This gives then an overview again from what I just told you. And then we come to the cooling system. Were there questions about the elements?
How does this compare to other ovens? Is this how is this better than I don't know, Miele or a less expensive oven? Because I see what you're showing here seems pretty common, right? All ovens have something similar, right?
Yeah, all ovens, all brands have something similar. Not all ovens or all brands have the possibility to choose between all of the functions. We at ASKO choose to have as much functions as possible. Not for us, because let's be honest, if you have a dishwasher, some guys use only 1 or 2 programs while we have 16. For ovens, it's the same. If I look at my oven at home, I use the hot air function a lot. And the other functions, I use them, but not a lot. But if I were a chef cook, that sounds really strange in English. If I were a chef cook, and I know a few because we have some working at our company, they use a lot of different functions for very special products. And there is where our ovens with all systems inside and all systems can be used separately comes in handy. So there are some differences, but if you take the most expensive one of Miele, they will probably have the same functions that we have. An oven is not new, but our goal is to make it as complete as possible. So maybe in the future years, if we have some new techniques, it will be in here also. Then we come to the cooling system. A cooling system is, of course, super important in a built-in oven. Not for the oven itself. The oven itself can do with a less sophisticated cooling system, but there are cabinets surrounded which cannot stand heat very well. So it's not only for that, but also for the safety. If you build in an oven at a lower height that children can easily touch the oven door, it would be possible that they burn their hands. So therefore our oven doors also have to be cooled quite severe. We took really care of that. To give you an example of the airflow, first of all air is drawn in from the surroundings of the oven, so from outside the oven, and it's blown out between the door and the user interface. I hope you see my mouse moving. I will use a pointer, that's maybe easier. So if you look over here, you see that the air is blown out here in the middle, and while it blows out, it also draws out the extra air through the door. In this case, you see a 3-layer door, and the first layer is of course more to the inside of the oven, and the first layer will have quite hot air. The second layer will have less hot air, but all the air is drawn out between one hole. So you have a very good circulation through the door. It's even made a little bit bigger over here. So in every condition, doesn't matter if you use only the oven or even the pyrolytic system, you can touch the door with your hands without burning. It is a super safe system. And I think it is even mandatory to have a system like this. So just talked a little bit about the enamel. We only have one quality. And one quality for all models. It really is resistant to the highest temperatures, and not only that, it can also stand a lot of moisture. So it doesn't rust, it doesn't have gaps, and yeah, it's very strong. It can stand more than 500 degrees without breaking down. So that's something we need in all our ovens.
So the just one question, the ovens that we are going to be having, are they self-clean or pyrolytic?
Well, you have a pyrolytic model. We'll come to that later, but there are also other cleaning possibilities, and I will show that later, how that's done in other models. So, large cavity, we already talked about that, and yes, then we come to the cleaning. There are several ways of cleaning several systems. For instance, when you have a steam oven, you get a lot of chalk inside there. So there is a decalcination program to get rid of that. So it's a completely automated program, and your user interface will give you a signal when it's necessary. When it gives you a signal, you can start the decalcination program, follow the instructions on the screen. And this takes about 60 minutes, and you will get for this 4 cycles. And the 4 cycles will do about 15 minutes each. And after that, the complete steam system is completely cleaned. So this is necessary. If you don't do that, your steam system will not work that great in the future. So if you don't do that, the note on the screen will repeat itself and saying, well, please clean, otherwise it does stop to work. So if you see this in the screen, the appliance does not directly stops working. You can cook it in that normally, but if you keep ignoring that, you will see that it doesn't work again, and you will have to use the decalcination program. So you also have one pyrolytic oven inside your lineup, and the pyrolytic oven has a pyrolytic cleaning system. What is in the name? It is quite convenient. Therefore, you can actually clean your oven without the use of chemicals. The advantage of that is that you don't have to go to the store and buy the special chemicals, and they don't always work that great. The pyrolytic system works a lot better for cleaning your oven. It needs a temperature of 465 degrees at least, and temperatures around that or even higher will burn all food residues that are in the oven. The big advantage is that it all falls down, or you can brush it off later off, and the only thing that remains is the ashes on the bottom, and you can easily suck them out with a vacuum cleaner or a brush, or whatever you think is best for that. You can choose between different effective modes. So if you see that the low pyro cleaning is enough for you, that takes about 3 hours and uses less energy. But if you see that your oven is quite severe dirty, you can also use the pyro high setting, and that takes about 4 hours, and then your oven will be really clean. By doing that, you will have to get out the easy slide racks, and you get an extra set of rails that you can put in. The reason of that is that you can also leave the baking plates inside there for cleaning. So that's quite convenient. They also clean with the same system. So for safety, the door will automatically be locked if the temperature inside the oven is above the 250 degrees, and it will unlock itself when it's cooled down under the 150 degrees. And depending on your environment, it takes an amount of time before it opens again. So also the pyrolytic ovens have a catalytic device. The only thing that it does is it takes out the toxic and unpleasant odors that can occur when you are using the pyrolytic system. This is not normal ovens because that doesn't work. The catalytic device only works above a temperature of 420 degrees. So it has no use to place it in a normal oven. If you have a normal oven with no steam system, so only top and bottom heat, hot air behind the blower, then you can still use an aqua cleaning system or aqua cleaning program. It is quite simple. You pour the water in a baking tray and you put it on the aqua cleaning program, and the temperature will go up to about 70 degrees for a while, and that helps to evaporate a lot of water, and the water will stick to the bottom, to the sides, and everywhere where there is dirt. And this water is softens actually the pollution that you have inside your oven. So it's easier to clean out. If your oven is very dirty, you might have to use chemicals after all, but I would first try it this way. And it helps by cleaning, with the cleaning. So something about the door construction. You saw earlier on that the ovens can be dismantled. The oven doors can be dismantled. And the reason of that is that the air is going through the oven doors, and by pulling air through it, there can also be some pollution, some dust or whatever, and that can stay behind between the oven doors itself. So that's not nice to see. In this picture, you see a microwave door, and for a microwave door, that's always a little bit different, because a microwave door in every brand, if you have a Miele or ASKO or whatever, you can never ever dismantle a microwave door. The reason of that is that it's unsafe to do. So that's quite unsafe to do. And if we could do that, microwaves could get out of the microwave oven if you don't put it correct back together. So that's the reason why there is a regulation for microwave doors, that there is one door, never dismantleable. For the oven doors, for the steamer and the combi steamer and the normal ovens, it is a bit different. Therefore, we have a system that you can take out the two inner glasses and clean them. It is quite easy. In this picture you see here, that is a locking mechanism. Just pull it up a little bit and you can slide it back, and you can get out the glasses. So that's quite convenient for cleaning. And for the microwave door, as well as the oven doors, we use as less plastic as possible, just to create a good premium look and feel. So every oven, not only the microwave, has safety switches. So what happens if you open a microwave door? You see extra microwave door has extra hooks on here. Those hooks are going to micro switches inside. And for microwave doors, it's an obligation to be as safe as possible. And we have therefore more and better door switches than you have for a normal oven door. Not that they are not good, but they are not as accurate. And that's not necessary. Because when you open an oven door, like more than a centimeter, in this case, in our case, more than a half a centimeter, your oven system or steam system will stop. It doesn't matter if that's a millimeter or 2 centimeter. For safety, it doesn't really matter. So that's the reason why we have a different system. The biggest reason is, of course, that we don't want to have the ugly hooks on the normal oven doors. We see that actually in every brand the same. So not an ASKO only, but also Miele, Bosch, Siemens, or whatever. Then we come to the oven functions. And there we stand out to our competitors. Why do we stand out? We have a multi-stage cooking system in the Craft 6 versions. What can that do? If you have an oven like this, you can act like you're the chef at home. What you can do with this system is not only use several oven systems after each other. There's also a 5-in-1 oven, of which I'm going to explain a lot of things later. And that's an oven where we have a microwave, a steam system, and all oven systems in one. But we cannot use all oven systems at the same time. That's for 2 reasons. Technical is not possible, and because steam doesn't work well together with microwaves. And if you use all systems at the same time, the electrical power that it uses would be really too much. So therefore, we created the multi-stage cooking software. That's quite convenient. So what we can do here is we can program cooking in 3 stages. For instance, if we want to use the microwave at first to defrost or warm up something which is inside the oven, you can program first the microwave for, let's say, 1 minute on 600 watts. And in the second stage, you can program, for instance, the steam system or the steam combi system. And let's say, let's bake it for an hour or 45 minutes with steam and a temperature of 180 degrees. That is then the second stage you program. And for a nice brownish crust, which you see in this page, you can also program it, for instance, for having a 5 or 10 minutes grill function at the end. That's what it can do. In practice, do we use that? Yes, we are going to use that. I will give you a very simple dish which a lot of people are making at home. We have all made probably a lasagna at home. And I guess in your country, you're baking lasagna as well. If I do that and I'm making lasagna and goes in the oven for, in total for, let's say, 35 minutes, normally I would want to bake it for, let's say, 20 minutes on 200 degrees. And after that, let's say 15 minutes on 140, 150 degrees. The reason of that is when I leave it for 35 minutes on 200 degrees, the cheese on top is really burnt. So, or it is getting burned. And to prevent that, we use multiple temperatures. So you can program it in 2 stages. And you can program first to bake in for 200 degrees. And after that, 15 minutes for, let's say, 140 or 150 degrees. It's quite easy to use, and you don't have to look at it for the full 35 minutes. Every time you make a lasagna, it will be perfect, so no burnt cheese at all. How that's done and how simple that's done, for that there is this small video.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question regarding the lasagna? You said you cook it first for what, 220 degrees?
For 200, for instance, for 200 degrees, it's
200. Then you go down to 150, right?
Yes.
But when you finish at 200, the whole oven cavity is at 200. How do you bring it down? Is there a function that takes the heat out of the oven, or?
No, the product itself takes the heat down. Let me explain you a little bit of what happens when you are putting something in the oven. If you set an oven, doesn't matter which oven, which brand, and you set it for 200 degrees, you place a rather big dish inside the oven, for instance lasagna, you set it for 200 degrees, and if you would actually measure the temperature in the oven, you will see that your temperature is dropping quite a bit. And the reason of that is that your dish that's inside the oven, it takes a lot of energy from the oven, and that's normal because your dish has to get a certain temperature. Now we come to the fact where your oven is already 200 degrees, but water is boiling at, let's say, around 100 degrees. So what you're doing with your oven, with your system, is putting more heat inside your dish, and your dish is made of a biggest amount of that is water. So that costs a lot of energy and is completely unnecessary. Not only costing energy, but your dish is absorbing that energy. So when you are going automatically down from 200 degrees to, let's say, 140 or 150, your dish will try to extract still the same energy until it is under the 100 degrees, with the result that your temperature is dropping quite fast. I cannot demonstrate that, but if you would try this at home or in the showroom, you will see that the temperature is dropping quite fast.
Do you have more examples of applications for stage cooking?
Not especially, but you can imagine that with all oven dishes of which you are normally monitoring. So looking in the oven, is it getting black? Do I have to get it out? After a certain time, you know, how that works. I'm not really a chef cook, so I make a lot of the same dishes once in a while. So I know with what dish I need to put the temperature down, otherwise it will burn. And therefore you can use this system. But there are no special recipes only for that.
Okay, I remember ASKO has a library of recipes, right?
Yeah. We will see that also. Yeah, we will see that also in a moment after this.
Okay, do you think there's examples of applications for this in those videos, maybe?
No, because those programs are completely automated. So you don't see actually what the oven is doing. But internally, the oven is doing things like that.
Alejandro, we have actually a project ongoing where we are trying to find list some recipes that we can have in the oven manuals, like a quick guide, how do you do lasagna in this oven if you don't use the automatic program. So we are working on this and looking at how we can make it easier for the customer to understand how to use the different functions.
Okay, thank you. So what we, because we'd like to we do cooking demos, and I think because this is a feature pretty much exclusive to ASKO, this would make great cooking demonstrations, right?
Yeah, that is so. And normally when we wouldn't have COVID, I would rather come over to you and demonstrate it, and yeah, that would be great, of course. Yeah, but I'm stuck to a screen right now, and it's it's kind of hard to give emotions to a system like this, because it is really a great system, but you have to see it and to have to program it. What I do have is a small video how to program it, how that looks. We can look at it right now. So first, start the oven function. Set it for a certain temperature at a certain time. Then you can choose for the stage cooking. The first one you programmed already, and then you start to program the second stage. So you can use every oven function in each stage. After that, you press the V button. You see all your stages, and then you can still alter some. And after that, you press the V button, and it will do its cooking of the three stages.
What's the maximum number of stages?
The maximum is 3.
3.
Yeah, in all oven models, always at ASKO. And we can make, software-wise, it's possible, of course, to make 10 stages. But in practice, nobody uses more than 3. It's likely to use more 2 than 3. So then we go to the automatic programs. Well, how do they work? Quite simple. You're making a dish and you choose your auto program, which is situated inside the oven, so not in the manual or something. You look at the recipes, and for most recipes, you will have to set your oven for the certain amount of weight of the product which you are going to place in there, and you have to tell the oven of which intensity you want to have it baked. And then it's pressing the V button, nothing more, nothing less. So 3 actions to take. This is very hard to explain through a screen. So there is also a movie of this, how to program that. So the rest goes completely automatically. And it's not only a program that we just made up. All these programs, all the 160 programs that are in there are, were tested severely. So all the programs work quite accurate even. So that's very nice. This is then a few pages of the possibilities you can choose from for the use of the oven. From hot air to eco hot air, top, bottom heat, and so on. These figures that you see here on the left side, they are not made up by us. They are international icons, which we are using also on our ovens. So for all people, quite easy to understand. All our ovens have demo functions. So if you place them in a showroom, there is no harm when people are trying to put the oven on, to fiddle around in the automatic program, stage cooking or whatever. There is no heat coming into the oven. Also a good thing, when the power of the showroom is going off, the demo function will still be programmed. So that's just done for safety. Then we come to the microwave systems. In an ASKO combination microwave oven, you can simmer sauce without boiling. It's possible we are using the inverter technology to create an even heat. And previous models that we had, that everyone had, were more like an on-off system. I will explain that later. So with the new inverter technique, that is quite convenient. We have a microwave of 45 centimeters high with somehow around the biggest cavity which there is in the market. So if you look at this picture, you see that there is a grill rack inside the microwave. If you look well, the microwave also doesn't have the easy slide racks. The reason of that is that the microwave and the easy slide system don't work together and can give sparks. But it's also not good to use the microwave and together with grill racks and so on. It doesn't break down or anything. It doesn't harm the appliance, but it can give sparkles where customers can be scared of. And the second thing is, when you have that in the oven cavity, your microwave will not work quite well, because the racks and the oven plates cannot be penetrated by microwaves. Therefore, you see on the bottom also a glass plate, of which you can place inside the oven while using the microwave. And the glass plate, through the glass plate, your microwaves can go quite easy through. I have a small animation why we use a glass plate later on. So then you can see the purpose of that. So to have a good, to divide our microwaves extremely well inside the microwave, we use a stirrer. And we use a stirrer because we don't have a moving turntable or anything, which we see in the really cheap models. You have to divide your microwaves, otherwise it will be hot in one spot and cold in other spots, and that's not good, of course. And this system takes care of that. You see here in this drawing that the microwaves are bouncing around and going through the product that's inside the oven. For technical knowledge, for every brand, not only ours, it's always the best when you place your product not exactly in the middle of the oven. Place it a little bit to the side, for instance, and that will give an even better heat diffusion over there. So this movie will show then in shortness how that works, and especially how the waves are going through the glass plate. So there we have the inverter connected to the microwave. That's what the stirrer looks like. That should be quite clear. Another thing is that we have a inverter system. Big advantage of an inverter system is compared to the old system, which delivers what you see here, pulses of high power, is that when you have a lower power for heating up things, for instance, when you are putting rice in a microwave, if you have put it on a high power right away, you will see that the rice corns are breaking down and are not that tasty anymore. So the structure changes then, and that's not especially through microwaves, but it's especially through the high energy that goes through there. So if you can reduce that by using an inverter, that problem is completely gone, and your rice products will be heated up a lot better than the old-fashioned microwaves, let's say it like that. It also works more constantly, even heating, less energy consumption, and what's quite important, it is much less noise. The old-fashioned microwave has an on-off system which constantly switches and gives a kind of strange noise on and off, of which you don't hear when you use an inverter system. So that's quite convenient. For the microwave, you have these functions: microwave itself, defrost function, my microwave function. So it allows you to set a fixed microwave power and time, microwave and hot air, and microwave and grill and fan together. Was that clear about the microwave system?
Quick question here.
One question. What's the function of microwave and hot air?
Well, the function of microwave and hot air is to speed up the process. The combi microwaves are quite common in our kitchens, but if you use that, for instance, when you have, let's say, a roast or anything, you are only pushing heat in there from outside. When you want to speed that up, you can cook also the inside and the outside together. So therefore, you can use a combination of microwaves and the oven function. Microwaves for the heat inside and the cooking inside, and for the oven for the crispy surroundings on the outside, and the nice looks also, or the microwave and the grill. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
I have a question here. Does the model that we're going to carry, I mean, talking about the microwave, Does it come with the inverter system?
Yes, it does. All items that are in this training are especially in your appliances. And later on, you will also see the lineup, which have the list of what's all in there. After this training, you will get this presentation also. So you can, yeah, I can imagine that when you look at the lineup pages, you cannot even remember half of it, so you can check it later on. Then we come to the steam cooking. Why would we want to use steam cooking? I don't know if you ever tried that, but yeah, this method is actually yeah, is the best way of preserving vitamins. It keeps yeah, 20% or 22% more vitamins inside your product, and 6% at the highest, less fats. Why is that so? For instance, in this picture, when you see the vegetables or the potatoes, and when you would boil that in normal water, a lot of the vitamins are going into the water, and the water goes into the sink, and that is the product that we don't use. With steam, it's a different thing. All the water and all the moisture stays inside the product that you put in there. Not only that, but all the flavors stay also in there. So if you are in a restaurant, at least it's common in Europe, and I think in your country it's probably the same, the better restaurants are only steaming their vegetables, and that's not only for the taste and for the bite, but it's also for the color. Also the color on, for instance, broccoli, on the green products, let's say, it stays really green and stays really nice. That's a big advantage. But keep in mind that you cannot use steam for products that has to be crispy on top, or like pies or quiches or anything. I wouldn't also use it on a pizza, for instance, because there is already a lot of moisture inside the pizza, and if you put extra moisture, the pizza won't taste at all. So it's only for yeah, products like these. Vegetables, poultry, and some desserts and fish and so. So,
excuse me, can you combine steam with convection or fan heat?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Can you combine steam with convection?
Yes, you can. I will explain an example of that later on. Advantage of steam is that you don't have to add fat or oil during steam cooking. That's quite a good thing, of course. The steam takes care of that. All your taste stay in the yeah, in your dish, in your products that you're going to put in there. In this picture also, that is the same picture as the previous picture. You see fish and lemon together with potatoes and broccoli and so on. And you would think that your broccoli is going to smell like fish, but in practice it doesn't. So the steam doesn't contribute of getting tastes and smells into other products in the same cavity. So that's quite handy. And the steam is also suitable for blanching, defrosting, warming, or keeping a dish warm. Now we come to the combining. Good question, actually. You can combine it with a lot of dishes, of course, and mostly if you think at it yourself, you're baking at home, and you probably had in the past some things that were come a little bit dry out of the oven. For this, we have an extra function. We have the normal convection or heat oven, the central heat oven. I forgot the name. And then you can add steam. For instance, as an example, I have a picture of a bread over here. Yes, that's a bread. And what does it do? When you are baking a bread, it would be nice that the bread is quite fluffy inside and moisturous inside and really soft. And we want only the outer crust to be nice and crispy. For that, you have the possibility to add steam at 3 levels. In the Netherlands, but probably in a lot of other countries, we also have the instant breads that we can buy at the supermarkets. that only have to be in the oven for mostly 8 or 10 minutes. They are already pre-baked, but to have the nice brownish tint and the nice warm inside, the fluffy side inside. Also for those breads, I use this adding of steam, and they taste way better than when you use the normal oven system. So you don't only have a pure steam system, but also the steam adding in 3 levels. How does that look? Here you can choose for full steam, you can choose for low temperature steam, and you can choose for the sous vide function. Do we know the sous vide function?
Yes, it's a temperature controlled cooking. Instead of with time, it's with temperature, right?
Yeah, that's kind of right, of course. The reason why I asked that is that I actually don't know at all if that's done in your country. Sous vide cooking is quite popular, getting popular right now, because a lot of people have steam ovens at home, and most steam ovens have a sous vide function. Also, the ASKO steam oven has that. I'm not going to say so much about it, because you are not selling, for instance, vacuum drawer, and there is a big story inside the presentation of that. But sous vide is actually putting, for instance, a steak in a plastic bag, a special plastic bag, put it inside the steam oven and warm it up until, let's say, 50 or 48 degrees for a certain amount of time, mostly about 2.5 to 3 hours. But you can also leave it in there 4 or 5 hours. It doesn't matter. It doesn't destroy the steak. The big advantage of that is that the complete steak, outside and inside, is already or well done, or it is rare, or it is medium rare, whatever temperature you're choosing, of course. After that's prepared by sous vide, you can take it out at exactly the right time that you need it. So if you had some people at home and you're dining together, it's kind of hard to have your meal ready and all the items of your meal ready at the same time. But this makes it easier, because sous vide takes care of that. You can get it out and place it on a grill plate, your sous vide prepared item, let's say a steak, get it out, place it on a grill plate or pan, and just put it in there for half a minute or a minute, and it's ready. So that helps to plan your dinner a lot better, and it is quite tasty, because a lot of taste get to stay in there, and it doesn't dry out, and so that's quite a good way of using. The other functions that we see over here are the combi functions, of which I just told you about with baking bread, for instance. There you use the normal hot air system, for instance, or the top and bottom heating. Oh, sorry, this is only the hot air system combined with the steam. And yeah, this will add moisture to your product. Not actually adding, but not extracting moisture, because there is a moisture in the air already. And this works quite well. Other questions about this? Then we have one extra function in the oven that has the pyrolytic system. In that oven, it is possible to get a much higher temperature. Yeah, well, why do we need that? I don't. If I bake a pizza, it's never on 300 degrees. But if you are a real Italian or Italian kitchen lover, in Italy, they bake pizzas from 300 degrees and even higher in the wood burnt ovens. So the pyrolytic oven can get to 300 degrees and is really loved under Italian people. And maybe it has also advantages in your country. I explained already a bit the sous vide function, so nothing to tell there anymore. Then we come to the ultimate appliance. We just talked about all systems that we knew that technically are possible, but only in different appliances. Or you have a combi steam oven, which is a normal oven with steam function inside, or in a combi microwave oven, then you have a microwave and an oven system inside. But we have also got the Craft 5-in-1 combi ovens. What does this mean? This does actually mean that all we were talking about, all systems, are in one oven. And the oven has about the same cavity size as the other two have. So no compromises over there. So that's quite nice. Let's look at it. Why would we want an oven like that? Because it has also a disadvantage. You want to know what the disadvantage is. For baking, it goes only up to 230 degrees. Not possible to go higher. In practice, that's high enough. Most people are baking on 200 or 220 degrees max. But it has a lot of advantages also. It's really environmental friendly. The reason of that is that you use much less material since you only need one oven. The biggest advantage, for instance, when you have people in a kind of smaller kitchen or an apartment kitchen, you only need one appliance, and you still get to be a chef cook because you can make every dish inside one appliance. It's also quite convenient. You don't have to shuffle between two different appliances when you need different functions. And it's quite healthy cooking by using steam, better bread. We just talked about that. And yeah, it's instant but delicious. Instant by using a microwave to heat up your product and heat it up a little bit more fast inside, and after that or at the same time you can use the oven. In this system it's not possible to use, even though it's inside there, but you cannot use the steam and microwave for safety at exactly the same time. Do you want to do that in one cooking session? You can, but then you will have to use the stage cooking function, which is also in this model present. So yeah, the goal is then to make most of the space that's available. And yeah, when you see it in an apartment like this, yeah, you only can use then one appliance and with all functions, which is quite nice. What is inside there? The full steam system that we talked earlier about. There's a complete microwave system, exactly the same as in the other models. You have the conventional heat, that means actually normally the upper and lower heating elements, and also the hot air function. So technical wise, it's exactly the same as the other two, but then all in one. Same components, exactly the same. It is quite versatile cooking with the ASKO 5-in-1 combi oven. It's everything is possible. All thinkable cooking oven scenarios can be programmed and used. Yeah, so it is for a lot of people the best thing to have for professionals and also for beginners. Yeah, for extra crispy tops in a short time, you can use, for instance, the grill and the fan and the microwave. And to reheat yesterday's pizzas and to have a great taste about this, you can use the microwave together with the crispy surface grill, and yeah, you will have a pretty much good reheated pizza. You can defrost all types of foods or melt chocolate. Yeah, everything is possible. For that model, we have over here the model number, OCSM 8487S. And this is then an overview of what's all inside there. Earlier on, we talked about the special bowls that are coming with this appliance, which you see here. The first one is without holes, and the second one is with holes. So if you have something which you are thinking that there is coming a lot of moisture of, and you don't want that to pollute your oven, first place the one without the holes, and on top of that you can place the one with the holes. So the excessive cooking moisture can be kept inside the second bowl. So that's quite convenient. Then we have the combi steam ovens. The Crafts. The first one is the 2.9-inch TFT, the Craft 3 version. That's a combi steam oven. Then we have the 2.9 inch 60 centimeter. Oh, I see that I don't have the correct picture in there. Nobody saw that, I guess. Then we have the 60 centimeter oven, and then we come to the Craft Solo microwave. That's this model. And the microwave, yeah, it doesn't need the baking plates, the grill plates, and so on. So you only have the glass plate over there. And then you also have an icon LED version for the microwave. Then in your lineup, you will be having the Craft Pyrolytic oven, and that will be a 60 centimeter oven. And for those who looked well, you also see a, we call it a culi sensor. So culinary sensor, you can monitor the inside of a steak, for instance, to see when it's ready. This is an icon LED version. In the past, we had some awards for designs. Not so important, but we are doing quite well with our designs. 3 red dot designs and one best product design in the Netherlands. Questions about ovens?
So basically, regarding functionality, this is very similar to the Pro line that we currently sell. Probably the only function that I recognize that is new is the 5-in-1, but other than that, it's the same functionality, right?
Technically, inside it's a lot the same. Yes. Yeah. More questions?